So Gamescom is fast approaching. It will be here before you know it, and we should be getting some new gameplay from Anthem. But today we've got some brand new details about the skill trees in Anthem between the pilot and your javelins. Yes, it seems like there's multiple skill trees that you will be managing in Anthem. Plus, we go into details about the in-game and in-game loot. Bioware has provided official details about a bunch of this stuff as well. So guys, let's dive straight into it. And welcome back to Open World Games. We're talking about Anthem. So yeah, I know if you're like me, you're hyped for this game. So let's get into the news, shall we? And first of all, I wanted to talk about this detail here. This was posted on a new blog update. That's going to be in the description for you guys. It says you have a freelancer who has a skill tree that applies to all javelins. It goes on to say, as your pilot goes on missions and gains experience, they'll get better at operating javelins and get additional efficiency out of them in the form of your pilot skill tree. Your javelins will each have their own separate skill tree that also progresses as each javelin gains experience. So this is really neat. Your pilot, also known as a freelancer, will be getting his own skill tree that you'll be upgrading and investing in. And it's going to be like your overarching skill tree, in other words. And then each javelin is going to be getting their own types of skill trees, I guess you would say, that you will be investing in as well. Which means that this game sounds like it's going to be pretty deep with the progression system, to say the least. And then on top of it, you got to remember, you're going to be having customization. So it's something I'm really hyped about to hear about the various skill tree, in this game. But, a lot of you guys are wondering, well, since there's a skill tree for the pilot and there's a skill tree for your javelins, does that mean I could just get out of the javelin and roam around as the pilot now? Well, that's not the case in terms of the open world. You will be able to explore as the pilot from first person when you are in the fort or the strider. And then you have to hop into your javelin if you really want to go out and explore the world, because it's just too dang dangerous to go on foot. All right, let's talk about the in-game. The in-game is going to be the lifeblood of Anthem in terms of longevity. So this is what they said about the in-game. Mark Dara, of course, from Bioware, responded to Ryan. And Ryan says this out on Twitter. Hi, you probably won't see this, but I wanted to know if you could grind enemies found around the world for in-game loot, or if it would be activity exclusive, i.e. like raids in Destiny. And Mark replies saying both. So this is awesome news. This just means you won't have to go into raids over and over and over again for that loot. You'll be able to explore the open world, and apparently the in-game will be providing in-game rewards as well. Unique in-game loot. So that's super important, I think, to really keep the game fresh as time goes on. So yeah, we've got some information about, guess what, guys? Crafting. Yes, so this is what the blog post had to say. It said, we have nodes that you'll harvest for crafting, including plants. And it says, yes, you budding botanists, there will be time to stop and smell the flowers and then rip those flowers out and put them in your pockets. Where are those pockets on a javelin, you ask? Well, that sounds like a good question to tweet at Bioware Mark Dara. Yeah, keep sending your questions to Mark. He's really good at replying, as are the other Bioware devs, of course, out on Reddit. But yeah, this is one of the most active Bioware teams I have ever seen, or dev teams I've seen in a long time, engaging with fans. Which, of course, is always a risk, so it's cool to see. But, yeah, it's cool to see that crafting, of course, is going to be a thing in Anthem. You'll be able to go around and, grab from this world and then make stuff from that. So that's pretty cool. Let's talk about seasonal gear. So, Yamato says, is it possible that some pieces of armor are unique? I mean, with events like Halloween, pieces that will not be possible to have later. I speak only at... I don't know what he's saying there, but Mark says this. It is possible. So, sounds like they have ideas for seasonal gear in Anthem, which is really cool. It's something I personally love about Fortnite, and it's something I love about other games as well. So, I would love to see this. I would like to see seasonal gear. And, Also, I would like to see seasonal environments as well. It would be nice to go to the fort and see, decorations, really celebrating the holiday. I know that Destiny did some of this stuff as well. Now, some of you are actually wondering, and this never came to my mind with Anthem, but some of you are wondering this because it is a Bioware game. Can, you get it on with a Colossus and a Storm? Is there romance in Anthem? So this is the answer, and no romances in Anthem. We are focusing on different character interactions. No dialogue but there will be some dialogue choices. So yeah, you won't be, looking in the distance, seeing trees toppling over and going, oh yeah, there's a Colossus and Storm getting on over there. So that's not something that's going to be happening in Anthem, but the dialogue options are definitely intriguing. He didn't confirm anything about branching story arcs. Don't know if it's that type of game, though. We will have to find out. But yeah, it's nice to know that there's multiple dialogue options at times in this game. But I think the game is going to be more focused around action. So yeah, let's talk about this one right here. So Daniel says, will people be in the same instance as you when you free roam in the world? And Mark says yes, up to 3 other players. So basically, if you jump into the world of Anthem and you're playing by yourself, you're usually going to be dropped in with 3 other players. You can ignore them completely if you want to, or you can say, hey, I would like to play with you guys, approach them and try to arrange some sort of game with them, which is pretty cool. So this was really cool. We have not heard much recently from the weather system in Anthem. They showcased that in the initial demonstration. You may remember them running all into this massive storm, and I'm extremely curious about that still. But this is what was asked by Braden. He says, how do different weather conditions come about? Are they triggered by scenarios in certain areas of the map? Are they on a cycle like the day-night cycle? Or are they simply random? Thanks. And Mark confirms they are controlled by servers. Reminds me of Truman Show right there. But that's really cool to hear that at any time they can decide, hey, let's have an event where Blizzard comes in and just, destroys the entire area or something like that, or have a whiteout related to a story event or a boss coming in, or maybe some sort of catastrophic moment in the world happens. This is stuff that they can pull off by controlling weather with the servers, and I really do hope that more games tap into that more and more. So I was kind of excited about that. We'll see how far they push that type of technology in Anthem, but it is really, really cool to see. All right, so this is the continuation from that blog post. It says, yes, you can combo if you're solo. It says, depending on how you configure your javelin, you could set up your own combos without the need for a bunch of extra teammates getting in the way and ruining it, end quote. So you can go in there. We've seen the combo system working with other players. You see your ice come in, and then you do your mortar, and then you have a combo. It gives you more damage because of that. You can actually perform those type of combos by yourself if you want to. So that's confirmed now. Some of you were wondering if combos were only a multiplayer thing. No, you can actually do that in solo, in single player. But again, remember, you will be roaming around with 3 other players in that world, no matter what. This is an online-only game. This is basically an online game, but you can play it with solo. Now, they did also mention, and I'm going to paraphrase here, that it's best to play with your friends or even with the randoms against tougher enemies. It's going to make it, easier on you, and you're going to have, I think, a lot more fun. That's basically what Bioware did say. It's like the more, the merrier, especially when you're facing off against some of those tougher bosses. I remember Destiny, when it first was releasing, they were saying you could play the whole game solo, no problem, and people quickly found that, hey, it's best to go in these tougher raids with a group of friends, especially with a really well-coordinated group of friends. So it sounds like they're going to be offering, stuff for everything, those type of players that want that super hardcore experience. But from what I take from this news that's super important is that they are really considering the longevity of the experience in terms of collecting loot throughout the world. They don't want it just being limited to raids, which is super important. I've always found that to be the case with some games, and personally that's been kind of a turn off, having to go into, that raid over and over again. I'm really hoping that some of these rewards in the open world are actually really, really unique. But guys, yep, stay tuned here to Open World Games for more news about Anthem and other open world gaming goodness, including, of course, Fallout 76. Looking forward to learning more about the beta for Anthem as well. So stay tuned for that. We are approaching GamesCom. It's going to be August. I think it's August 20th or something like that. So look forward to that news when we get new gameplay. I'm expecting tons of new Anthem gameplay during that time. But guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later.